All right, continuing the series from Marvel, we got the top 5 Marvel Hot Toys announced in 2019. This is 6 Scale Economist. Let's jump right into it. Taking the number 5 spot, I got the Thanos from Endgame non-battle damaged. The reason why this figure is at number 5 for me is it's just like kind of a weird release for Thanos, right? Because like you either gonna want like the Infinity War Thanos or the Endgame Thanos, but if you're gonna pick up the Endgame Thanos, I don't really know why you would pick up the non-battle damaged one. The battle damaged one looks much better. I think it's the more pivotal scene in the movie. You know, you get like the broken blade with the battle damage one. So the non-battle damage one is just kind of weird for me, and I'm not really sure who's picking this one up. I guess the reason why Hot Toys does it is because it's just so easy for them to make a battle damage and non-battle damage, and in the hopes that there's going to be collectors out there who are going to pick up both versions, which I'm sure there is. But for me, it's a great release, but it's kind of one that just like wasn't really needed. Like I'm going to be picking up. If I'm going to be picking this up, which I think I will be, I'm going to be picking up the battle damage one. I don't really need the non-battle damage version as well. But still, a great release and solid at number 5. Swinging into number 4 spot, we got Spider-Man upgrade suit from Spider-Man Far From Home. I love Spider-Man figures. It's my favorite character in the MCU, and so I was very happy to get the release, obviously picking up this figure. Do I think it looks as good as the blue and black? No, I don't. I still prefer the blue and black classic Spider-Man look, but I think this looks really clean, and I think it's an awesome release. I love that this release comes with a Tom Holland head sculpt. That's something that, we don't get with every single Spider-Man, so it's great to have it with another Spider-Man. The accessories are pretty cool. The web flying effect, I'm not really a huge fan of, but overall, it's an awesome release. The problem with this figure is the same problem that happens with all of these Spider-Man figures that are not the homemade suit, in that they're just tough to pose. So if you're okay having it in museum pose, which is usually what I do with my Spider-Mans that have this sticky rubbery material, then I think it's a solid pickup. And I like the look with the glasses. Overall, it's a great release. It's pretty similar to the regular Spider-Man that we have, but different enough for me to be able to pick up both of them for sure. Taking the number 3 spot, the figure that I get the most heat for from you guys in the comment section. I know this should probably be the number 1, but for me, it's number 3. It's Iron Man Mark 85 battle damage from Endgame. Look, I get it. This is probably arguably the most important Iron Man to have in a collection. It's the most pivotal point of his entire character arc. It's obviously a very good looking figure. It's the best Tony Stark head sculpt we're going to get. The problem for me is I just don't love the way the nanotech suit looks on Iron Man. I think I'm in the minority on it, but that's just the way I feel about it. But overall, it's such an awesome release that I'm going to be picking up this figure. It's too iconic of an Iron Man to not have in your collection. Having him with the Infinity Gauntlet on his hand, all battle damaged up next to Endgame Thanos is just going to look too good to pass up. It's just not higher on my list because I'm just not a big fan of the Mark 85 look and the Mark 50 look, just that nanotech look in general. But it's still an awesome release, and I'm sure for a lot of people it might be, their number 1 figure announced in 2019, their number 1 Iron Man to have in the collection. Taking the number 2 spot for me, I got Captain America from Endgame. This figure, this is the Captain America to have. I don't have a Captain America currently in my collection, and I'm holding out because this is the one that I want to have. He comes with everything that I want. I want him with Mjolnir, and I want him with his shield, and I want him with a Chris Evans head sculpt, and they kind of just gave everything for us with this one. The reason why this one isn't number 1 for me is just the body shape. I wanted it to be the stealth suit body, a more slim look, and if it was that, this would definitely be the number 1 Captain America for me, and the number 1 figure for Marvel Hot Toys announced in 2019. But nevertheless, it's still an awesome, announcement and hopefully release coming out soon. I've had it on pre-order obviously for a while, and I'm just super pumped to get this in my collection, get him displayed with Iron Man and and the rest of the gang, and I think it's just going to be a great look. Overall, it's an awesome release and just barely beat out for number 1. If it was a smaller body shape like stealth suit, it would definitely be number 1 for me. Taking the number 1 spot, I got to give it to Spider-Man. It's the Spider-Man homemade suit from Far From Home. I get it that this is basically just a re-release, but still, for me, not having the first issue of the homemade suit in my collection, I was so stoked when they announced this one and immediately pre-ordered it, and it's just awesome. It's probably the Homecoming Deluxe is probably my favorite representation of Spider-Man, but just the ability to pose this figure is what really sets this figure apart from so many other figures. And I know everybody talks about this figure, but it really just can't be understated. You can get him in all of the Spider-Man poses that you really want to and never be worried that you're going to damage your figure. And that's what just makes this figure so amazing. It's unfortunate that it doesn't come with a Tom Holland head sculpt, but what lacks there is made up for with this awesome drone that it comes with. Me, personally, I would have rather paid $30 more and have that drone be die-cast, but nevertheless, I'm still happy to get it either way. The problems with this figure is, again, no Tom Holland head sculpt, and then I've seen the reviews, and this plastic, holographic thing just looks really cheap and crappy. I wish that they did a better job with that, or just made the price of this figure more expensive and gave us a better base where that was, like, incorporated all the time and not just some plastic add-on. But overall, it's just such an awesome release, and if you want, one Spider-Man in your collection, this is probably a great Spider-Man to pick up. Don't miss the opportunity to pick this thing up at retail if you're on the fence about it. Like, homemade suit Spider-Man will do well in the secondary market. It's going to be probably one of the best Spider-Mans for people to have in their collection for the MCU, and overall, very solid for me at number 1. Alright, and that's going to wrap up my top 5 list for Marvel Hot Toys announced in 2019. Let me know in the comment section down below, do you guys agree with my list? What is your guys' favorite figure announced in 2019? Appreciate all the comments and support. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. This is 6 Scale Economist.